Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new video on the TARDIS zone. Before I start the video, if you like what I have to say, please give the video a like, and also if you haven't subscribed, please do so already. So I have an article from the Radio Times here, an interesting article actually I have to say. It's in relation to Catherine Tate. Another actress was lined up for Doctor Who before Catherine Tate. So let's read the article and see where they're going with this. Before playing Donna Noble, the comedian thought New Who was still set in the 80s. We can't imagine what Doctor Who would have been like without the bold, shy, no-nonsense Donna Noble. Why is this acting all weird? No-nonsense Donna Noble in Series 4, but according to David Tennant, that was very nearly the case. Catherine Tate, who played the fiery companion throughout 2008 and returned briefly in 2010, was only intended to star in the show's 2007 Christmas special, The Runaway Bride. But while producers wanted to see more of Tate, they doubted the sketch show star would have time to sign on for a full series, even lining up another actress to take the part. The revelations was heard on the latest edition of David Tennant's podcast. I've stopped watching David Tennant's podcast, to be quite honest. I don't like the way he's coming out and speaking and, defending Jodie Whittaker. And I know he has to do it, but I'm pissed off that all these former actors and actresses are actually defending this show. They know quite well this isn't Doctor Who, but I suppose who would actually, bite the hand that feeds them? I don't think anybody would, but still, it's a bit ridiculous. There was another actress lined up, but she doesn't know this. Our exclusive producer, Julie Gardner, was going to have lunch with Catherine and see if she wanted to come back for a whole series. Obviously, she won't. So on Monday, we're going to send out the offer to play this character. There was a character breakdown and everything. It was a formality. Tate replied she was surprised to be asked back to the show. I remember exactly. Julie took me out to lunch and said my jaw genuinely dropped open because at no point did I expect her to say that. And I thought it was really good thing to do. I thought it was a one-off thing. I absolutely loved doing the Runaway Bride, but I didn't for a minute think before doing the show full-time. Tate admits she didn't even particularly like the hallowed BBC sci-fi drama, having never really watched it. Doctor Who wasn't my thing. I knew it from growing up, she said, but I heard it was coming back with Russell T Davies, who I loved from Queer as Folk. I turned on to see the episode where Rose was a baby and it was all set in the 80s. I'm thinking this is absolutely shocking. The production values haven't changed at all. It was fundamental misunderstanding, but I remember thinking this is appalling. Wow. It wasn't even until recently that Tate finally understood just how popular Doctor Who was. I didn't know anything about it, she said. I don't think I realised until last year how popular the show is. Genuinely no idea. I experienced things at conventions I didn't think I would. There's a level of intensity, you're shocked and delighted, amazed at it. With Doctor Who now behind her, Tate is returning to her sketch show character Nan, having penned a new film. It's great fun, she said. It's probably one that's got the legs to carry on, and it's probably the most popular character. I agree. I love her Nan impression. She's brilliant. It's great fun, she said. It's probably the one thing that's got legs to carry on, and probably the most popular character. I already said that line twice. So that's it, really. So yeah. So she watched she watched Father's Day, obviously, because Billy was a baby in that one. Rose Tyler was a baby in that one, and she thought the production values were appalling. Do you know what? I love Catherine Tate. I don't have a bad thing to say about Catherine Tate, but it is actually quite interesting to hear from someone that wasn't impressed by the show, but then ended up being in the show and being one of the the best characters in the show, to be quite honest. I know she doesn't have her fans. I know a lot of people judge her on the Runaway Bride. But she was actually the perfect companion, and the chemistry between herself and David Tennant showed on screen, and that's why she is up there as one of my favorite companions. I absolutely love her. To be honest with you, I don't want Catch and Tate to come back to Doctor Who anymore. Well, not this version of Doctor Who, but maybe somewhere down the line in the future she might come back. Because okay, she can't remember the Doctor or her brain going, but still, it'd be nice to see Catch and Tate back doing Doctor Who. To be quite honest, I wonder who that actress was that they had lined up. Doesn't say anything in the article about the other actress that was lined up. They never. Radio Times is always very yeah. They I don't know. I don't trust the Radio Times propaganda machine um for the BBC. Let's see if there's any more latest Doctor Who news while we're here. So another actress. No, I don't want Radio Times. Just Doctor Who. Latest news. Big Finish is reviving Doctor Who's infamous Force companion, Kill. Yeah. I don't know, Big Finish seems to be a bit all over the place lately. Don't know. So, Doctor Who actor working with Tom Baker wasn't a bundle of laughs. There, there were certainly tensions. Let's see, we'll have a look at this. This is an article. Tom Baker's final series of Doctor Who is out on Blu-ray and looking better than ever, with stories including The Leisure Hive, The Keeper of Trakan, and Baker's swan song, Log Billy. I can never pronounce that word, but you know what his last episode was. All having been painstakingly remastered. Baker's final year saw the show undergo radical changes in front and behind the camera, with new production team, new title sequence and a team arrangement, and eventually a brand new regular cast. The end result was a season celebrated by most fans, though it is no secret there were tensions on the set. Speaking at the BFI event, Christopher H. Bidmead, script editor on the season, admitted that he would sometimes clash with Baker over the actor's desire to ad-lib and deviate from the scripts. Well, that's what makes a good actor, isn't it? To be honest with you, if they're able to improvise and they're able to come up with their own lines while they're doing these things, that's a sign of a good actor. Um, we fought all that like hell and tried to put a stop to it. Mead recalled, if we saw Tom doing something that wasn't in the script, we would come down and we would have words with him, quite loud words sometimes. He wasn't allowed to improvise. I believe that once I got the job, I understood the show with deep clarity that nobody else had, and certainly not Tom. Not Tom of that era, anyway. Tom's view of the character was of no interest to me at all. Wow. Baker was also romantically involved with Leela Ward, who played companion Romana, which co-star Matthew Waterhouse Adric acknowledged led to tensions on the series. Of course it is. You never shag your co-star. It never works out. Um, there were clearly tensions between Tom and there were clearly tensions by Tom and Ward, which affected the atmosphere in the rehearsal room, Waterhouse said. It wasn't a bundle of laughs. I'm very fond of them both, but it wasn't an easy relationship and it wasn't easy as a young person to observe. Waterhouse observed how Baker's whole performance would change depending on his particular frame of mind in the moment, but that the actor was more relaxed once Ward left the show midway through the season. The atmosphere was so different and, to be honest, so much more relaxed, he said. Margot Hayhoe, Jesus Christ, production manager on Logopolis. I can never say it, folks. Also noted that Baker's demeanour seemed to improve by the time he filmed his final episode. She admitted, I was actually terrified because he had a certain reputation for being a little difficult sometimes, but he was absolutely fine. I think it helped that it was his last one. He wanted to leave on a good note. Well, we all know that Tom has a history. We know he wouldn't do the special either. The Five Doctors. Obviously, that was disappointing, to be quite honest. Because Tom is one of my favourite Doctors, but it was nice to see him in the 50th. But I will say I do agree with all the other characters, all the other actors that played the Doctor. They should have been in the 50th as well, and I have strong feelings that Paul McGann definitely should have been in the 50th. That's just a personal opinion. I honestly do believe that Paul McGann should have been part of the 50th. I know Christopher Eccleston turned it down as well, but I'm hoping now in the future that guy decides that he will come back and do a special, because, you know, Christopher Eccleston, whether you love him or hate him for what he done, he obviously had a vision for the show that he wanted to do. He wanted to make the Doctor a little bit darker, wanted the stories to be a little bit darker, but of course they went a different direction with it, and he left. And I've no problem with that at all. It's still one of my favourite series, the 4 series of the new era. Christopher Eccleston, not known for his comedy, was very funny also in that series. So I mean, look, hopefully one day. It's nice to see him that he's starting to go to conventions now, and he seems to have lightened up a little bit, which is great. So hopefully, you never know, maybe in the future we might see Christopher Eccleston come back, or maybe they could bring him back just to kill Jodie's Doctor or something. Wishful thinking. But it doesn't matter. It's 2020. She's gone anyway. Well, I will have another video later. Yeah. There's one more article here that I could do. It's Charlotte Ritchie on wearing the Dalek. It really stank, she said. So we'll read what she has to say, because the whole Dalek on her back was a metaphor. Basically, a man sucking the life out of her. That's what BBC tried to do. See, if you're clever like me, and there's a lot of clever fans out there, actually saw that. But the pro Jodie fans are not clever, and they don't see that. But it was definitely a metaphor. That's exactly what that Dalek was, draining the life out of a woman. That's what apparently us men do, you know, because we're all bastards apparently, you know, especially if you're white. Yeah, I don't know. It's getting ridiculous now. I've seen a lot of ridiculous things over the past few weeks online. The behaviour of certain, what would I say, certain film companies, the censoring of YouTube channels, Facebook groups, and Twitter pages. It's unbelievable. And I mean, I made a comment about the Disney takeover, the big deal that's happening, and I said it was a bad idea. And then of course I get the usual, I knew this comment would incite hate, and I was like, where in that comment have I said anything that actually constitutes as hate? All I said was I think it was a bad deal. But this is the environment that we live in, on the internet, and it's quite funny, to be quite honest, because you have a different opinion and you're given a label, and you know, but there's a fight back happening, and the fans are fighting back, and Jodie Whittaker is gone in 2020. Chibnall is gone in 2020. So all you pro Jodie fans will leave as well, because obviously you're only watching because there's a female doctor. As soon as the female doctor is gone, most of you will go. Remember, 45% of the audience is already left when because they didn't like this series. So when Whittaker leaves, then her fan base will also leave. Where does that leave the fandom, and where does that leave Doctor Who? I don't think the show, personally, I don't think the show will ever recover from this disaster of casting a woman as the four, and especially Jodie Whittaker. I mean, they could have done a lot better than Jodie Whittaker anyway, but that's just my opinion. But look, I'll get a bit more into that when I do this video, because the next one, because I'll talk a little bit about Jodie Whittaker, because I've had an interesting conversation with someone on Twitter, and it hasn't been any. I have to say, it's actually quite refreshing to talk to a pro Jodie fan that actually respects my opinion and actually respects what I have to say. Mightn't agree with me, and I mightn't agree with their points, but we're able to have a decent conversation. And do you know what? That's all fans like me want. You know, we want to be able to debate with you, but you keep labeling people, and when you don't get your own way, you know, you resort to bully tactics. And there's no need to resort to bully tactics. Listen, you have no facts that supports Jodie Whittaker, right? These are all saying, you know, then I see fans digging up old interviews of previous doctors when they talked about a female taking over the role. Here's the thing, right? It never happened, right? Back then, when they were talking about it, it never happened, okay? Sidney Newman talked about it, it never happened, right? Previous doctors talked about it, it never happened, because they knew it wouldn't be acceptable, and it wouldn't. And I don't care, you can call the fan base sexist all you want, right? When you've had a male character like the doctor, a character like the Doctor, and it's been played by a man for over 50 years, right? If you suddenly change that, you're in a lot of trouble. And that's what's happened. 45% audience drop. She's gone in 2020. We might have a Christmas special in 2019. I hope the announcement for the Christmas special actually happens, because then everything else I've said then will come to fore. So I'll talk to you all soon. Have a good day. And yeah, I'll have another video after.